You were alluded to it before about the development of Mac Jones and how the generation of him could be laid at the feet of that in Belichick's final years there. What do you think about what Jerod Mayo's put together for Drake May, now that you're seeing it in the process right now, just the first couple of weeks?
Well, it's much more a division of power, so it's certainly not. It's not a Jerod thing so much, Rich. It's Elliot Wolf is putting together the personnel around him, and Jerod is putting together the culture,
Right.
and Alex Van Pelt is putting together the blueprint for the offense. And that umbrella notion of one guy at the top of the food chain, from which all knowledge flows, is gone. So I think that it's a much more cogent approach. I mean, the Patriots had one of the smallest coaching staffs in the NFL, and they plowed through offensive line coaches in the last 5 years at an alarming rate. And the continuity at those positions was bad. I mean, I look back, the last two preseason openers, the Patriots had 12 penalties in each in 21 and 22. They cleaned it up a little last year, but would that lead to a sketchy year? But they just were not organized. I think there's, believe it or not, a feeling of organization and a fleet of department heads that are executing things now. I'm not saying it's cleaner, but the practices are harder. The practices are longer. The practices are not at the same tempo as Bill. There's a difference there, but there's also we'll see how it ends up. I don't think it's going to be worse than it was the last 2 years. Put it that way.
What about the interactions with the press? How's that different?
It's more open, but I think as we've watched over the last 2 weeks, he's become a little bit more guarded as the rubber meets the road, and he understands having to navigate the Judon situation. And I did a show with Jerod for like 6 years.
Yep. And
I am able to sense his mood and his bedside manner. And I think I can tell that his football mind is starting to overtake his, hey, I'm going to do a different mind. And he's starting to put a little bit of a veil down. Yeah, it's not going to be conducive for me to explain this, so I'm not going to do that, whether it be with injuries or contracts or behind-the-scenes conversations. So it's morphing a little bit, I think. But his culture, look, the way he navigated the Judon situation, you got a guy who's sitting on an upside-down trash can, just kicking his feet, watching the practice, and you don't like it, you go over and tell him, you got to get out of here, and it doesn't explode. That was an interesting way of navigating it, and also to get Judon to come back 2 days later and start partaking in practice. Unusual in 2024 to see that kind of an impasse not get ugly.
Could that be hand in glove with Judon getting what he wants, or being told it's coming, or what? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I would think so. You can't make the guy play for $6.5 million. I know, suspend all disbelief to utter those sentences, but he should be making about $15 million. You have to give him a chance to make that. Top 10 guys are making 20. He's a Pro Bowl level player. He's got to be around 15. So I don't think, especially when you miss out on Ayuk, especially when you've already missed out on Calvin Ridley, you're sitting on $40 million worth of cash. If he'll take a 1 year bump to satisfy him, then I think that is absolutely something that can be achieved.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.